Okay, here we are at the house with the little boy. This is the second day of my fast, and I cheated yesterday, and I continued my fast. And one of the reasons why I'm fasting is because I kind of consider it an exchange, more so, an exchange for a little bit of discipline and integrity in my sadhana, and a little bit of willpower. And, they say what sacrifice is, we actually have everything, but it's a giving up of something to attain something. And I want to get closer to God. And also, I'm looking forward to the challenge of the temptations and all the things that occur, that are latent within inside me, Some people like to call that the devil, whatever, but, and if you grew up in a religious society just like I did, you get caught up in right and wrong and stuff like that. But as I had stated previously, that Krishna, when he manifests his universal form, you see the most awesome, terrible demons, that are transcendental beyond our imagination. And you also see the goodness, and the supreme personality of Godhead, and and this is one of the reasons why I want to touch base on desires. The four regulative principles are basically no meat eating, including fish and eggs. Because we have a lot of vegans out there or vegetarians that say they only eat eggs or they only eat fish once in a while, just to maintain their body and stuff like that. But the thing is, we got to get away from violence. And Prabhupada had gotten into the idea of wearing leather, and stuff like that. Wool's okay. Granted that you treat the sheep's okay, and you take care of the sheep in exchange for taking their wool. And also, milk is, in my opinion, I generally don't eat milk or eat no dairy products unless it's feast, where it's consecrated and sanctified through offering through the pujaari and prayer. And I think it's very important to have your own cows, just like on the Krishna farms and stuff, in communities, where they take care of their cows and where they're allowed to retire there, even when they no longer can produce milk, and they take care of their young and they're allowed to have babies and stuff like that. That's a different story, And unfortunately, in India, there's a cow train that occurs, and there's a lot of rascalry and unethical things going on with how they treat their, most holy of animals, and they rob the mother of the milk, and then after that, there's a train that leads all the way down. It's almost like a death walk of cows to go all the way down to Pakistan, where they're slaughtered and made for belts and handbags, purses, and for beef and stuff like that. But I'm not going to get off on that rant, though. But okay, other regulative principle is no gambling, and that doesn't just mean the casinos, in which I had a tendency to do once in a while. I used to love to go to casinos and gamble and stuff like that, though. But just spending time away from God, basically. That's all it is. And that's one of the most difficult of regulative principles to follow. And also, like for instance, if you go to the stock market, or you invest into something that might do well or something like that, you're hedging your bets on that. That's really gambling, more so than casinos, because I think you're aware that your chance of winning in a casino is minimal. Okay, and also there's other regulative principle would be drugs, caffeine, stuff like that. And a lot of people, Vaishnavas, unfortunately, are like, okay, well, I smoke a little weed every now and then and everything and stuff like that. I don't do any of that, actually. And, I want to try to keep my body pure. Though, but one of my shortcomings is caffeine. And I don't make any excuses for myself. I take responsibility for what I do. And I don't drink coffee usually, but every once in a while I like some yerba mate. It's debatable whether there's caffeine in that, but I like green tea once in a while, and an occasional cup of coffee when I feel dead tired, and I'm trying to get away from that. And this is one of the reasons why I'm fasting. And also, the biggest regulative principle that a lot of Vaishnavas leave temples, okay? And I think y'all know what I'm talking about. Sex. Gratuitous sex, or, I forget the word for that. Illicit sex, yeah. We have a tendency to do that a lot, in our communities, in this. I know of devotees who had gotten kicked out of temples, and devotees who had left temples just because they wanted to get their groove on or whatever and all that stuff. And there's many levels of that, okay? So the highest level is basically no sex at all. There's one pure devotee of God, Saraswati Maharaj Thakur, who has never passed semen a day of his life. Okay? And, and that's the highest level. Basically, and the second level is sex only for children. And if you look at Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he's had many children. So I imagine that the only time he's had sex, because he's a pure devotee of God too, was just for the producing of, enlightened beings into this world. And another level would be, to have sex with your wife only every 30 days, or with your husband only every 30 days illicitly. And so that's supposed to be for children anyway. And then lower level than that would be just sex with a spouse, And, and I guess that's kind of permissible, depending upon, like, sacrifices and austerities that you make in exchange for that, and that's the key. It's austerities in exchange. We got to get away from this idea of having our cake and eating it too. And the worst level of all is just like straight up partying, getting your groove on, illicit sex, And I'm not a person to judge or anything though, but I think I've moved on from that period of my life for a long time now, and I would ask you to consider what your desires are and who you are in service to. And if you're in service to God, you have a commitment to embrace the suffering that you're going through. Recognize these desires. Know that they're yours. Take responsibility for them. Feel them. You see that right there? Oh, man, dude, these are like some straight-up potatoes that I had just made, and unfortunately they got like a tiny bit of garlic in them for medicinal purposes. But, they got curry, cumin, a little bit of veggies, and it's really good. And I'm about to feed Ife some of these for his breakfast this morning. And, my mouth is watering right now. And I really want to eat that so bad. It is just unbelievable, though. But this is part of my fast, and this is what I must embrace. I must embrace.